We are live. We've been live. Okay. That's good to know. Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's video. I'm doing this live. We got a question in the comments on our What is Jediism? A video, which I will later put a link in the description box of that video in case you haven't seen it. But it is our video of what is Jediism, and we kind of explain it in 5 different ways. They asked, interested, but where do I begin, or how do I begin? And so I wanted to make a video on that, and I was going through writing an idea of what do I want to say on that, or how do I want to approach that video. As I was thinking about it, I decided to just do a live stream on it because we haven't done a live stream in a week, 2 weeks, I don't know, something of that nature. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. The first thing that you want to do, or where you want to jump in. So I have some book recommendations if you can get to the library or your financial situation allows you to invest in books. So the first 2 books are, or the first 3 books are all going to be kind of Star Wars related, meaning that they are tied to Lucas and or Disney. And these ones I think will really help someone out, especially since the commenter mentioned that they have been a part of Buddhism or studied it or are a Buddhist. I don't know, something of that nature. So something very familiar to those who have looked into Buddhism or follow Buddhism, something that will help you out on getting started is the book Be More Yoda or The Jedi Mind. Both of these books are pretty easy to find on Amazon, any other book retailer, Barnes and Nobles, any bookstore will be able to order them. And they're pretty fun books. They're very much tied to Star Wars. They're licensed through Disney. So you get fun things like this. Man, I'm really bad at that. So Seeking Mindfulness, but you have the ties to Star Wars with the movie pictures, along with the elements of thinking, of being mindful, of thinking about what you want to do or how you want to do things, meditations. There's exercises throughout them. This one is really good at that, the Jedi Mind, because it offers quotes as well as exercises and things that you can do along, again, with being tied into the Star Wars world. So it keeps your inspiration alive as well as giving real world information and practices that you can use and bring into your everyday life. So that is a good place to start. Along with that, you can go with the trusty A Jedi Path book by Daniel Wallace. And this is it's just a fun book. It's more role-playing guide-ish, but the books that I really, really liked about the Jedi Path that really helped me create ideas and lessons and lectures for everyday living really did come from the role-playing guides. And if you know your Jedi history, that is where the Jedi Code comes from. It was created for the Star Wars role-playing guide, tabletop role-playing guide, back in 1987. So, but again, this is just a fun thing. It has some things that are not applicable, but at the same time, it has plenty of things that you can dig into and you can work through it, and it's fun. Again, it's inspiration stuff, and that's probably a good one. But for an example, I kind of highlight things that might be relevant to the Jedi way, such as never neglect your mind in favor of your body or spirit. It should always be a little equilibrium there, right? Your mind, body, and spirit should all be worked on. They're all going to have different levels depending on who you are and things of that nature, but don't neglect one for the other. Okay. Love is also a strong passion and equally dangerous. Ooh, food for thought. So this is one of the books that I like, and it's been around for a while, and a lot of people like it. And so I certainly recommend it. If you can get into a fiction book about the fictional Jedi that's good for philosophy and kind of ties into things, this is one I recommend. It has a chapter here in the back threats to Jedi teachings. No, that's not what I'm looking for. But it talks about the misconceptions of the Jedi, which is also a good thing to have. So that's another one I would recommend to kind of start off on. Again, these are pretty easy to find through the library system or through your local bookstore. Again, depending on what your situation in life is at. Pretty easy to find online as well. And then we'll toss this over there. And then if we're going to talk about Jediism kind of as a path, or the Jedi Path, Jedi philosophy, Jedi lifestyle, whatever terminology you like to use, I am going to throw out this. I'm going to throw out Jediism Explained as a good beginning resource. It's a good, it's not in depth. It's not very, that's not very big at all. That's not very long. It's not a in-depth resource. And hang on. I made it. Welcome, a base Jedi. What's going on? Glad you can make it. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for making it. So this isn't a very big one at all. It's not very long. It's a lot of pontification, but it's a good place to start. I think I hit the mic. It's a good place to start if you're just starting out. It has information like the history of the terminology, where it came from, kind of the beginning sites. I threw in some screenshots of the beginning sites that are no longer around or active anymore. So at least you get an idea of where we kind of started and where we grew from. There you go. Yeah. And that gives you a little history. So this will provide a little history. This is probably the first, Jedi site. You can't really probably see that, but that's where a lot of people started, was the Star Wars Cantina. So it provides history for the Jedi philosophy and where it kind of comes from and things of that nature. Where can I get that book from? This one, Jediism Explained, you can get it from barnesandnobles.com. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from, that might be it. I'll have to look into it. I think those are the two places. I'm looking at alternatives because I know some people are not happy with Amazon. So, but I know barnesandnobles.com, if you search for it, and Amazon. And you can get them in both ebook or the paperback version, which is this one. And again, it's just a beginner's thing. That's what it was created for. I'm working on a better version, technically. It uses what's called the Jedi precepts in here to kind of dig through the path, which was created, and it's all in here, but that was created at a website called the Force Academy back in 2010. I was on what they call the Light Jedi Council or something. I don't remember what it is. And so I helped create, they were creating a document at the time, a constitution, if you will. And I helped create a guideline for Jedi accountability, basically, for guardianship and how to hold Jedi accountable, what defines our path, basically. And so that's what I use for this, is the Jedi precepts. And it breaks down the path pretty easy. It's, Jedi meditate, Jedi are patient, Jedi are respectful and courteous. This is all in here. And again, this is just all, pontification stuff. It's just the beginning point. It's just the starting point, really. So those 3 books, Be More Yoda, the Jedi Mind, the Jedi Path book, and Jediism Explained are really your ground. If you're in a position, or you can get to a library, you can get most of those books through the library. I don't think you're getting Jediism Explained through the library, but I don't know. But at the same time, you can get those books. Those are pretty accessible books, either through buying them or through the library system. And those are good starting areas. If you're just getting into this thing of like Jedi philosophy, exploring it, like, can this be real? Can this be something I can live by? Or is this just crazy talk? That's where you can go with it. Those are your kind of beginning areas. it's on top of that, they're all going to mention the same thing, right? Meditation is going to be your number one beginning thing. But again, the person who asked the question for the whole purpose of this video stated that they are Buddhist. So meditation will not be a new thing. It will not be something that's foreign to you. And really, when you dig into meditation, when you dig into what it means and what meditation really is, then you'll realize that you've probably been doing a form of meditation throughout your entire life in one way or another. Meditation is a really broad thing. Most people think of it as sitting in a lotus position, staring at a wall or eyes closed in a dark room and just removed from everything. And that can be a form of meditation, but that is absolutely not the only form of meditation. There are a plethora of techniques for meditation out there. You could check out our Insight Timer. If you have the Insight Timer app, you can check out Jedi Living or search me, Obi McLeod, and you'll find Jedi meditations on that. And of course, our YouTube channel obviously has various meditations. You could search, you can find stuff. So meditation is going to be one of your beginning practices. It's going to be one of the big things that you're going to start out with. That's one of the things you're going to do. But really, those books, for the sake of brevity here, we're already 10 minutes into this. The sake of brevity here, those books are where I would recommend you kind of get that starting point at. And then you can move up to other areas and kind of dig into it more. Again, like back here, you have the Situational Jedi, a Jediism Guide to Life. It's a nice secondary title. That's available to help. But again, that's not really going to explain the path to you so much as just offer things within Jediism that you may enjoy. Or when you're facing difficult situations in life, it may provide ways to handle it as a Jedi. That I don't know if I would call that a starting point though, but it is helpful. It is useful. I have found it useful, so you could do that. Then you want to kind of incorporate one of the things that all Jedi, whether you're talking Star Wars or real life, incorporate, and that's some sort of physical activity. It's physical wellness. It's going to be different for everybody because everybody has different levels of what physical wellness means to them. And they have different limitations on that. So you have to find what works for you. Most Jedi, though, that I've met in an offline area, such as gatherings or things of that nature, but Jedi that I have met in person, almost all of them, all about that Star Wars lightsaber, practice and having fun with the lightsabers. That is absolutely something you can do. If you have dueling sabers, if you like lightsabers, you can get out there and you can duel with them and you can have fun with them. And it is a good way to get in that cardio. It is a good way to stay active. And if you can get out there and practice your lightsaber forms or do some dueling or sparring or whatever, if you could do that for like 30 minutes or practice things in relation to that, then, there you go. That's another starting point. It's a place to begin your exploration so you can get out there, get out the Hasbro lightsabers. You don't need a fancy dueling lightsaber. You can go get one of the plastic ones, way cheaper, and you can get out there and you can have some fun. That's a great place to start. Again, a lot of this stuff isn't going to be new. A lot of this stuff isn't new. What's new is tying it into the inspiration and not running from it or not hiding from it, but really making it a part of your practices and a part of your life. And so, grab the plastic lightsaber, get out there, have some fun, grab your meditation, put on John Williams soundtrack and get your vibe on, right? You can do that. Listen to some Closed on Sundays. They have some great lo-fi Star Wars inspired music out there that you can grab that on Spotify or something, even on YouTube, and listen to that, right? So it's all about finding what works for you and digging into it. But again, those books are where I would recommend you start because they're a good kind of building your foundation of practices and concepts. From there, it's about digging into the philosophy. And the number one exercise, getting into 15 minutes here, the number one exercise I would recommend for beginning the Jedi path is to look up the Jedi. I'll put that in the description later. I'll have to put a link to that in the description later as well. Or maybe the comments of this video. I'll put a link to the What is Jediism video and to a picture of the Jedi Circle. So we have a picture of the Jedi Circle. It's just kind of, it's a fun little picture. Anyways, it lists the 5 practices, the 5 tenets, the 5 traits, the 5 values, and the 5 goals. And it lists that, and you can just go through those and kind of apply them to dig through each one. See if you can match a Star Wars moment or a Jedi quote to each value, such as meditation, patience, accountability, whatever. Go through it, find your inspiration, and see how it applies, and then you can dig into it. If you dig into the Jedi Circle, that's going to be your foundation. That's going to be your piece right there. That's going to build everything on top of that. And then the books that I mentioned in the very beginning will just add to that flavor. If you're looking for the complete foundation, if you're looking for where can I begin, just look at that image of the Jedi Circle that lists all the 5s, everything's the 5 5s, and you'll have your foundation. You'll have your basis to work from. And then from there, what else can we throw in? Well, longtime viewers of the channel, they know we could throw in the Jedi Method. Jedi intention plus Jedi action equals Jedi outcome. But again, you kind of have to learn that stuff. What is Jedi intention? What is Jedi action? You look at the Jedi Circle. You look at the Jedi precepts. You go back to those books that we mentioned, and you'll find it. And of course, the APBP test. That's the #1 test that we have for all our stuff to make sure that we're not just following Star Wars blindly, that we're not just fanatics or losing touch with reality. We keep our philosophy grounded. And that philosophy or that test is simply, is it applicable? Is it practical? Is it beneficial? And is it positive? Let's see. Hey, nice new shirt. It is new. I had to buy one because someone stole my other one. It's a little different, but yeah, I should have ironed it out. Son's going to be mad at me. But yeah, I like it. I like my shirt. It's a fun one. Thank you, though. Thank you for pointing it out. I really liked it, and I was really cool about excited about getting it. And I just got it recently. Just came in the mail. And so, yeah, boom, rocking it. But yeah, that's where I would start. That's all the foundational pieces. Those are all the starting pieces. From there, you start getting into the pontification. From there, you start getting into the debates and the arguments and the different individual flavors and things of that nature. So for those watching, if you have any questions, for those that can comment, I don't think people on Facebook can comment, or at least that I can see it. But for those that are watching, if you have any questions on the Jedi Path, on where to begin, or beginning practices, or maybe you have a couple tips, tricks yourself that you have found useful, go ahead, post them up. Ask any questions. I'm going to open the floor now. That's why I did this video, chose to do this video as a live stream so that people could ask any questions in regards to beginning to live as a Jedi. Is this something that you want to do? How do you begin? Things of that nature. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away. That's what we're here for. Is Jedi based on Hinduism? It is not based on Hinduism. Excuse me, 1 second. Pouring my coffee. Tea. I forget what I put in there. Is it based on Hinduism? It is not based on Hinduism. George Lucas, when he created the Jedi and was digging into things, he was influenced by a lot of different elements. And he ties into this and he talks about it by referencing Joseph Campbell in an interview he did with Myers. He references Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces, which talks about the hero's journey. And Joseph Campbell, of course, is famous for the monomyth, saying that throughout culture, throughout society, throughout the world, different cultures have had this kind of same archetype and the same journey through a lot of their heroes that can be found regardless of culture and regardless of location in the world. And so George Lucas kind of drew from a lot of different places. He most heavily has referenced his Methodist and Buddhist upbringings and interests and love as his inspiration for the Jedi. The Jedi themselves have then been influenced by other creators and other authors and other TV producers and other movie directors and things of that nature. The Jedi have been shaped by a lot of different pre-existing philosophies and religious beliefs. You can find similarities within Hinduism and Jediism, if you want to use that terminology. You can find similarities there, but you're going to find those similarities with a lot of things: Buddhism, Taoism, Stoicism, Zoism, right? Like from A to Z, you're going to be able to find similarities with the Jedi and different beliefs. So good question. Thank you for asking. I do appreciate that, but not directly is the short answer is that. Not directly. But yeah, any other questions, feel free to throw them out. That's why I did this video this way. But again, if you're starting out, grab those books I mentioned in the beginning if you can, and then, live the Jedi Circle. Those are your things. I feel like making friends with a Jedi is a really good start for starting the Jedi path. Yeah. If you can make friends with Jedi, sure. I think that helps in any path, right? Anything that you're interested in, whether it's cosplay or anything like that, you find your people, right? And find the people who have been there, and they can help you through that, and they can do that. So yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. It is a good start. How to tell others you're a Jedi, or is it better not to? That's an individual choice. Some people like wearing it on their sleeves. Some people don't. Some people like kind of keep that stuff in the closet. It's really the same as any other thing, right? Like if you were a Buddhist or if you're a Stoic or something like that, do you really go around telling people? I know there's a couple religions and a couple philosophies out there that are very vocal about who and what they believe, but not everybody's like that, right? It's a very individual flavor. For me, I never let on like how deeply, but at the same time, I don't hide from it or run from it either. If it comes up, I'll say, what do you believe, or I'm a Jedi. But the license plate on my car is 365 Jedi, right? So like, I wear Star Wars and Jedi stuff all the time. I have Jedi tattoos. Like, there's no really hiding from it. There's no really, for me, like, so how to tell others, I have fluctuated over life. Mostly I've stayed with be who you are and let that speak for itself. Because when I didn't tell people, I've had people say like, oh man, you're like my Yoda, or you're like my Jedi master that I come to for advice. Like, people kind of draw on that connection, especially if they already know you're a Star Wars fan. They kind of draw that connection. But if you want to tell people that, if you're interested in telling people, like if you want to wear it, if you want to own it, and you want to tell people, then you're just like, yeah, I'm a Jedi. And they're like, it's going to be met with skepticism. And they'll either ask more questions in which you can explain it. And you can be like, nah, we had the APBP test. Here's the Jedi Circle, right? Like, you can break it down to where it makes sense. Like, as long as if someone's interested enough, at least in you, or if they're interested enough to ask questions, they may not like it or agree with it, or they might find it silly. But if they're willing to talk with you, then that's enough. If they're not willing to talk with you, then they're not willing to talk with you. You're never going to be able to convince people, but that's true of really any faith. Like, some are weirder than others. That's fine. But whatever works for you, whatever, I don't think judgment on all that stuff is, we need to kind of like leave it at the door. Be you, and let that speak for itself. And if that's Jedi, that's Jedi. And we have ways of explaining that. Yeah. You just like, here's the Jedi. For me, I just go through the Jedi Circle. I just list the Jedi Circle. Usually by the end of the 5 practices, you could just be like, here's the 5 practices, here's the 5 tenets. meditation, physical wellness, diplomacy, awareness, self-discipline, peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony, the Force. And people are like, okay, I get that, right? Like it's pretty easy to break down. So, but again, if you're looking for your basics, if you're looking for your beginning, those books I mentioned in the beginning, the Jedi Circle, you're there. Promise you that. Hey, Obi, good to see you streaming. Thank you. It has been a little bit. I've always taken from Jedi thought process is no connection other than the Force. All others are distractions from the one true connection. There's only one true connection, right? The label we use is going to be different for everybody. So yeah, I mean, like if you look at the universe, we just use different labels. But to me, I agree that there's just one universe, right? No matter how we label it, or no matter how many different perspectives we have on it, right? It's the three blind people touching an elephant in three different places and coming up with three different descriptions, but it's still the singular elephant. But due to the enormity of it and not being able to see it, we come up with descriptions that kind of describe it. They are right, they are accurate, but at the same time they are not, right? At the very same time they are not. And that's where we are with the Force, and that's where we are with labels, and that's where we are with understanding the universe, is that we don't have the perception depth. We do not have the perception to really grab on to what is and to be like definitive of truth. All we can do is speak our perspective, and while that may be true from a certain point of view, it might not be. It's not true from the whole picture standpoint, right? So it's fun. I gotta tell you, if you were a Jedi, would you turn or stay? I mean, that's why I play Star Wars role-playing games and video games like Star Wars Galaxies, Knights of the Old Republic, Fallen Order, all of it. And all of that tells me I would very much be a Jedi. I would be a paragon of a Jedi if I had the opportunity. But it is a little bit more challenging in the real world. But I stay on that Jedi path. The Jedi path in the real world is not black and white like the Star Wars universe. There's a lot more nuance. And that's a whole other discussion, because that leads to some people's other description that and I will not say it, but people's idea of balance is a bit off. I'll say that much. And actual Jedi staying on the path, staying true to it, is much more about balance than people realize or think. Starting down the path of the Jedi or just learning, while I myself don't walk that path specifically, it does come with some benefits for self-improvement and being aware of oneself. Absolutely. You have to dig into that. You have to do the real work. You have to dig into yourself. Being a Jedi is getting to know the uncomfortable parts of yourself, the things that we'd rather not know, the things we'd rather pretend you really got to dig into it. It's really about self-awareness. Again, awareness being one of the 5 practices of the Jedi, and self-awareness being a part of that, is that you have to dig into the self, and you have to know who you are. And in order to be a Jedi, in order to be a Jedi Knight, Master, whatever, like to use any of those labels, you have to start at the bottom, and you have to start with the foundations, and that begins with you. You have to know you. So, absolutely. Hey, Obi, good to see you again. Likewise, spiritual understandings. Good to have you here. I am glad you are here. Thank you for joining us. Greetings, Obi. Justin Z, welcome up. Oh, you got the Jeet Kune Do symbol there. I like it. That's cool. Big fan of Bruce Lee, by the way. I feel Jedi live to serve life. Life is an extension of the Force. I would agree with that. Our philosophy, or a lot of our root teachings, going back to the books that I was talking about earlier, will tie back to that. if you look at the Power of the Jedi source book and you look through the Jedi rules of behavior, one of those is Jedi honor life. And again, in the in this one, in this book where we explore the Jedi precepts. I know it's in here. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Almost. Jedi honor the path. Organization, teachers, students, societies, laws, personal paths, personal pursuits. Did I not put it in here? Well, it's in here somewhere. Jedi honor, I promise it's in here somewhere. The Jedi honor life. Okay, that's part of the Jedi rules of behavior. That's also in the Power of the Jedi source book. It should be in here somewhere. I'm just not going to search through the entire book to kind of find it. But Jedi honor life. And yeah, there's different methodologies there. There's different ideologies on what that means to truly serve life, to truly respect life, to truly honor life. There's different approaches there. There's different outlooks. There's different points of view. But it all kind of comes down to the same thing, that Jedi are indeed servants of the Force, which aka servants of life. I would absolutely agree with you. May the Force be with you always. What's going on, Victor? Absolutely. I like your picture. But yeah, so these are again, if you're looking to just start out, start out, this is one of the books that I recommended. This is probably your hardest one to find because you have to go to Amazon or you have to go to barnesandnobles.com. The other ones are pretty easy to find just about anywhere, including the library system, which is the Jedi Mind, the Jedi Path, or Be More Yoda. Those are also very good starting points if you're just getting into this Jedi thing. And as always, you can just grab onto the Jedi Circle. You can Google that, but I will put a link to the image of the Jedi Circle so you can snag that and you can work off of that. So you mentioned there's only one universe. What are your thoughts on the multiverse in relation to the Force? Again, I count that all as one. The pieces are only as good as the whole, right? So even if you have a cookie and you crumble it up into a bunch of different pieces, right? A bunch of different crumbs. Those things are still part. They're still the cookie. It's still part of the cookie. You may only experience maybe your part of the cookie has no chocolate chips in it, right? But someone else's does, and that vastly changes the experience. It vastly changes the experience, right? But it's all one in my. I use very overarching, very generalized sense here. Computer simulation, if you want. The breaking down how you view the universe actually doesn't really affect the concepts on the Force or being a Jedi. It seems like it would, or it seems like it should, right? But the deeper you get into cosmic thought, and the deeper you get into universal theory, and the deeper you get into all these different prevailing theories, some better than others, right? But it doesn't really matter. Again, as much as you get into them, all what you walk away from is, how do you live this life? How do you live where you're at now? How do you flow with that, right? And connecting to the Force, and we do have I do have a video series that's going to probably be starting towards the end of this year, but really picking up steam, hopefully picking up steam by next year. We're going to be having a new series on this channel, which will really explore the concept of the Force and feeling it and understanding it and really searching for it. And I mean, that's the series name. It's going to be called In Search of the Force. And we're going to go searching for it. And we're going to go seeing if we can find this tangible concept of the Force and really, where can we experience it? Where can we feel it? Where can we dig into it? And does it splinter, and do those splinters affect things, and do they affect us individually? And really what it all comes down to, and this is a quick disclaimer, none of this is basic stuff. All right, despite the title of the video, We are getting beyond the basics here, but that's fine. That's the point of live streams, and I already covered what you need for the basics in the beginning of this video specifically, so we can go off the tangents and do this fun stuff and have some discussions. But yeah, so for me, it's all one thing. I love the concept of the multiverse. I love the idea of it. Some of the papers or some of the theories that I've read off of Stephen Hawking and his idea of the multiverse and other dimensions and stuff is really fascinating stuff. It's all above my pay grade. It's all above really my comprehension. At least the details, the science, the mathematics of it is, it's up there. But the base understanding of it, I like the concepts. I always like to think parallel universe me is off, doing something good and living a good life. I always like to think we're all happy somewhere. But at the same time, no matter how far you get with it, you always come back to you and how you approach your life now. And that's where Jedi philosophy really comes in. Force is fun to think about. The universe is fun to think about. The different theories are fun to think about and dig into, and kind of how our place in the universe and all that, multiple or not. But at the same time, when you bring it all back down, we all come back down into the Jedi Circle and move through life. Be kind to critters and let them help you feel the Force as you speak with them. True enough, I currently work at a kennel I work at a kennel, but I also work with horses, a boar, pigs, donkey, as well as dogs and things of that nature. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of horses, but I mean, like, I'll be kind to them, but they're dicks. I don't like them. They're jerks. That's better terminology. They're jerks. The horses I work with are jerks, but yeah, I mean, like, it's all about being in tune and understanding that living creatures are living creatures. We're all just trying to get by in this world, right? Like, we're all just trying to make our way through the universe, as Jango Fett once said. So you should always use all resources to you and be kind to all living things, and be respectful and honor them and find your way forward through there. How does Shatterpoint relate to the multiverse and the universe? Shatterpoint, the ability, or Shatterpoint, the novel? Which one are you referring to? Are you talking about Mace Windu's ability, or the actual novel called Shatterpoint? I concur with your concept of oneness. Thank you. Thank you. This is good psychological exercise. Always is. Digging into it's always fun. It is always fun. Duality is the secret. Without hot, no cold can exist. Poles apart, but together again. Good and evil, life and death. Duality holds many answers. Taoism would definitely agree with you. Taoism would definitely agree with you. I think science disagrees a tiny bit with the hot and cold, because cold is simply the absence of heat, right? Right? So if you don't have heat, then cold will exist. You just won't have the counterbalance to it, right? If I got that right. Like, darkness is the absence of light. That's all it is. It's not an actual, like, thing. It's the absence of something. So without that thing, you would have that other thing still. It would just be a lot more of it, and you wouldn't have the comparison, right? Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. Just food for thought. Food for thought. Because both are the same things. The yin-yang symbol so teaches. It's very much so. Which you'll notice in The Last Jedi, the Prime Jedi, the fountain, if you will. I don't know, the water pond, the pond in the Jedi cave, in Luke's little Jedi cave, which is the mosaic of the Prime Jedi, has that Taoism yin-yang symbology within it. The duality of light and dark but in one being, in one picture. The ability of Shatterpoint. Okay, so the ability. How does Shatterpoint relate to Multiverse and the Force? The ability. I mean, it's hard to say. So my other question on that is duality equals binary languages. I don't even know what those symbols are. I like it. So the ability for Shatterpoint. Nope, oops, gotta go up one. Wait a minute. What is this? Super sticker. What does that even mean? And why are you spending money? Thank you, Skuld-Cold. I appreciate your super sticker. That is very kind of you, and is very much appreciated. Thank you very, very much. I'll come back to the Shatterpoint thing. One quickly finds that the Jedi Code does not give all the answers. If you are to truly understand, then you will need the contrast, not adherence to a single idea. I think it's not for you. Wait, there you go. It's not for you. It's for Kitsune. Fair enough. He deserves it. That I will accept. Thank you very much. Kitsune definitely deserves it, and he will get treats for it. Jedi Code does not give all the answers. It's not meant to. It's not supposed to. But at the same time, it can. But that's the reason why we have the Jedi Circle. So the Jedi Circle has the 5 precepts, which, if you know the Jedi Code, peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony, and the Force, those related. But there's a reason why we have 20 other points in the Jedi Circle. And that is because, absolutely, the Jedi Code does not give you everything that you need to travel through life. And at the same time, it really does. It goes back to the Bruce Lee concept. One of the quotes that I like from him, where he's like, when you're first starting out, a punch is a punch and a kick is a kick. And then you learn that a punch is more than a punch and a kick is more than a kick. And then you master it and you realize a punch is just a punch and a kick is just a kick. So as much as you learn about things, as much as the Jedi Code, like when you first dig into it, if you're first joining the Jedi Path, that code will be a guiding light, and that will really help you move through things if you understand how to read it, if you understand how to play with it, if you understand the concepts within it. But as you learn, the Jedi Path is much more in depth than that. The Jedi lifestyle is much more in depth than that. Hence why we have the APBP Test, the Jedi Method, the Jedi Circle, the Jedi precepts, right? The Jedi precepts, which are found in here. The reason why we have these is because it is, or the situational Jedi, right back there. The reason why we have these is because absolutely anymore. But once you get past all that, once you learn it, once you understand the fundamentals of the path, then you realize a punch is just a punch and a kick is just a kick. And the Jedi Code really does offer you what you need to navigate through life very easily. It actually provides peace, will provide you peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony in the Force. I'm telling you, that will guide you. that will do you, Jedi. You don't have to trust me on that. You don't have to trust me. I won't ask you to believe me. Live it. Thoughts on real life attachment and romantic relationships. All right, I'm going to get into that. That's a good one. Let me just try to catch up here real quick. I am regretfully an arrogant, matter-of-fact sort of Jedi. Always willing to learn. Jedi Code is what has helped me lose some of this ego. And again, yeah, there's many ways that we traverse the path. There's many ways to explore it. And there's that again, it's a big thing. It's the Jedi is a box, but it's a big box, right? It has its rules. It has its regulations. It has things you are not allowed to go out of and continue to be like, I'm a Jedi. But at the same time, it's a really big box. There's a lot of fluidity there. There's a lot of things. So yeah, absolutely. I'm a pretty matter-of-fact person as well. But and I've been called arrogant throughout the Jedi community since I started. So I'm right there with you. So no worries on that. Let's see. I feel like the code can help you figure out answers, just not give you the answers. That is probably the best way to put it. That is actually probably the best way to put it. It will help you figure out answers. It's not going to give you answers, right? The Jedi code isn't going to give you any answers. It's not going to plop down and give you the answer, right? When you sit down and meditate on the code because you're facing a situation in life, peace isn't just going to, it's not a literal thing. It doesn't mean no conflict. It doesn't mean no war. That's not what the code is telling you. Peace in itself, in that inner peace, that acceptance of self, is what helps guide you to the answers, not give you the answers. That's very well said. Very well done. Take my credits, Base Jedi. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very generous. It's very generous. I truly appreciate that. And we'll go back to your question. Thoughts on real life attachment and romantic relationships. Romantic relationships are allowed. It's a question of possession. It is a question of being possessive. And actually, George Lucas has talked on this subject more than once. And in his interview with Myers, did mention that Jedi are not celibate. They are simply forbidden attachment, meaning possession, meaning being possessors of something. That's where jealousy, envy, greed comes from. It's from that possessive concept. So the more we're learning, and as our society progresses, we seem to have a better understanding of quote unquote what's called these days, what we would call these days, toxic relationships. And possessiveness is one of those things that we recognize as a toxic trait. And so for Jedi, really, this has been a part of our path for a very long time. And it has always been about acceptance. And it has always been about understanding the impermanence of things and accepting people for who they are, accepting situations for who they are, and loving them fully and openly. Kind of that equanimity standard, right? You want to love fully, openly, accept someone for who they are, but you're not controlling them. You're not possessing them. There's no attachment to them. There is very much this person is in my life at this moment, and I'm going to enjoy that because it makes me feel good. And they are a benefit, and they are love, and they are light, and they are this, or they are that, right? Like, you see these great qualities within them, and you feel that they help highlight great qualities in yourself. But as we all know, nothing lasts forever in this universe, including this universe. And so we understand the impermanence of things, that things move on. And we understand that there's going to be emotions with that. There's going to be pain associated with loss. And that loss can come in many, many different forms. And we're going to experience a plethora of emotions as we go through that. And understanding that, being at peace with that. And again, that doesn't mean you're stoic and calm. You can be at peace and be a mess. You could be pain and heartbroken and hurt and crying and still know it. One of my favorite quotes from Mass Effect 2 is from Samara. And she said, if you ask her how she's doing after she just had to do this really tough loyalty mission with her, she says, I am a marooned vessel of sorrow and regret, but I am free. And that's what it is. Like, love fully, love deeply, have relationships. That's fine. As long as you are honest and open with it. And as long as you are honest and open with yourself. And as long as you understand that these things have an ebb and flow, and that, there's emotional context to that. And there's going to be times where you're going to lose something, and that's going to hurt, and that's going to be sad, and we're going to grieve, and you have to be willing to go through that grieving process. But at the same time, that doesn't mean just wash your hands, right? Like, oh, well, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. That's right. Love is not a hands-off thing either, right? Relationships are not hands-off things either. They take work. They take communication. They take growth. They take effort. They take facing that uncomfortableness, both within yourself and with someone else, and facing life together. And that takes assertiveness. It takes action. It requires movement on your part. It requires action on your part. It requires you not to be stagnant or staying still or completely like, well, we'll just see what happens here. We'll just, see. So being a Jedi and attachments and romantic relationships, it's kind of the same for everybody. The benefit that Jedi have is that they already have this understanding of the ebb and flow of relationships, of life, of the universe. They understand that these things come, these things go. And they also understand that they come with emotions, and that all of this needs to be okay and accepted and kind of embraced. And that doesn't mute any of it. It doesn't mute the human experience at all. It really doesn't, because you can be fully okay and you can let go, and you have trained yourself to let go of that which you fear to lose. And then if you still have a broken heart, it still hurts. It still grieves. You're still, ouch, so really attachment is own, don't possess. If you have your stuff, I have my stuff. Look at all this stuff. I love this stuff. It's fun stuff, but I'm not gonna die for it. If there's a fire, I understand that it goes, and eventually I'm gonna die, and eventually this stuff, who knows what's gonna happen to it, right? Like, these are all just realities of life. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing's permanent, and we have to understand that. Like, we all return to the void eventually. All these books, all these toys, all this stuff will eventually, probably, who knows, end up in a dumpster or something. Who knows what will happen? So we have to, and being a Jedi is just accepting that's the journey of life. That's part of being the life. And that doesn't mean we're not allowed to enjoy things. That doesn't mean we're not allowed relationships. It just means we are very particular in how we approach things. And it doesn't mute the human experience at all. That was in relation to that. Plus the Jedi Path. It's a good experience. I have, it's all the way back there. Wait, you know what? Hang on. You'll like this. You'll dig this. I have this. Let's see. Chikundo and the Jedi Path. This is the special anniversary edition of Bruce Lee's. This one I got to be fancy. I have not even opened this one up. I have not opened this one up at all. Mine is a bit more tore up with little. It's a bit more. It's a bit black. Can we see it? No, mine's a bit more tore up here. Bit more used. But yeah, no, Jit Kundo and the Jedi Path, I definitely agree with. When I first started out, whoops, I hit the microphone again. When I first started out, eventually this setup's going to change, by the way, guys, just so you know. But when I first started out, I was very much into Jit Kundo and stuff like that. I believe in forging reality over the discovery of reality. I do believe each option has equal potential, but I lean towards my preferences. Everybody's going to lead, right? I feel like that's all humans, I feel, lean towards their preferences, right? It's all just being, you have to go with where your experiences lead you. Regardless, for the Jedi, our only we all work from the same foundation. That's the only thing with Jedi, right? Is we all work from the same foundation. But again, big box. It's a big box. So we work from that foundation. That's going to lead different things. You put 6 Jedi in the room, you're going to have 12 different opinions, right? So, yeah. Like training any muscle, any thought or concept can evolve into something life-supporting. Absolutely. What business is it of yours if I love you? My favorite quote about non-possessive relationships and Jedi romantic relationships. Absolutely. What business is it of yours if I love you? Love that quote. I actually really like that quote. It's one of my favorites because, that incorporates it right there. Love. And maybe it relates, maybe there's a relationship there, or maybe a relationship never develops. But that shouldn't change how you feel. It shouldn't change, don't deny how you feel. Don't deny your emotions. Don't deny who you are, right? Love freely, openly, and embrace it, and understand there's gonna be waves, and you can ride those waves, and you can crash in those waves, and it is what it is. But have fun with that. Have fun with that. And another, thank you very much. Thank you, TV man. Thank you, sir. May the force be with us all. We should all make sure we are right with ourselves before putting ourselves on someone else. That's my 2 cents. I definitely agree. I agree with that. I think it's also part of the Jedi Path is that self-discovery, foundation, and understanding and digging into the self. We don't always get that opportunity. Sometimes two planets collide, and we have to do that work while there, and that can have varying results. But at the same time, we should always work on ourselves first. And it's surprising. It really is surprising when you put in the work on yourself and you get yourself right, and you build your foundation. You understand you. It's amazing what comes into your life at that point. It's amazing what you see, what maybe you wouldn't have seen before, or maybe what you notice, what you wouldn't have noticed before. And maybe nothing around you has changed, but since your perspective, since how you are has changed, you notice certain things that were in your life that maybe you had missed, and you were like, oh, dang, look at this person. And all of a sudden there's that chemistry there, and all of a sudden there's this thing. Could be that, by getting yourself right, the world opens up, the universe opens up. But you have to put yourself in that position. You have to get ready for it. You have to, it's like training, right? For anything. If you want the blessings of the universe, because as any spiritual person, I think this whole chat would agree, when you try to seek those blessings of the universe, when you receive them, they don't always look like blessings. They don't always look like, that's a word like probably a lot of people wouldn't even use. They'd be like, maybe the universe took notice. I don't know if I'm gonna call it a blessing. like there is all those things that kind of come into it, and that's all part of being about. It's about building that foundation, and the universe expands from there. We are the universe experiencing itself. Things end up in very unexpected places. Absolutely. Many times I have incredible stories. I have no clue how I ended up with them. 100 bad days made 100 good stories, right? I like that line. It's a good one. It's a good one. If I love you, what business of it, or what business of it is yours if I love you? It's just it encapsulates Jedi and attachment really, really well. The thing about growth is it never stops. It doesn't. It's as the universe continues to roll on in whatever form it continues to roll on in, so do we. And when you stop growing, that's death, really. You have to, life is about constant movement, and it's about constant change, about constant growth, and looking in yourself. There's a lot of different concepts in the world about understanding the world around us, and the past, and where we've been, and where we're going, and where we're at now, both individually, societal wise, and all of it, right? Growth is a constant. Don't get complacent. Continue to grow. Continue to be a part of it. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. That's another good one. That very much reminds me. Is that a Les Stroud? Is that a Les Stroud quote? That's Lee Stroud. Oh man, what's his name? I forget. The same person who said the quote, when you change how you look at things, how you look at things will change, or something like that. Like that quote. That's a fun. Anyways, I absolutely agree. That's a good quote. I like that one. What is your thoughts on chasing money and material gain? Well, chasing money and material gain is going to be an individual thing. If we're looking at our fiction, if we're looking at our philosophy, if we're looking at Jedi, lifestyle, then there's actually in our lives, there's nothing that says yay or nay on it. It's encouraged a little bit by the sense of, if you want to help people, you need to be in a position to help people, right? So there's a little bit of trying to win capitalism there. Things with all these books, if you want to own books, you have to kind of win capitalism there a bit. You have to work the system. You have to snake through it. The Jedi in Star Wars were hands off of it, except for running it, right? Except for the council, meaning no Jedi had money, no Jedi sought money, no Jedi was paid. But at the same time, the Jedi Temple provided housing free of charge. It provided food free of charge. The way that they handled transportation and food and all of that was through the galactic government and through basically going on missions and being a part of that. But they themselves, individually speaking, did not seek material gain and did not seek material wealth. And for us, so you see that translated over for a lot of Jedi. I don't think I have met, and I've met a lot of Jedi over the years, I don't think I have met one Jedi that's rich by any means. I've never met a Jedi who is a millionaire. Every Jedi I've ever met in the Jedi community has always been on the other side of the spectrum, but I've met mostly Americans from the United States, where I live, obviously. So I've met, and if you look at how the United States is and where the poverty line is and where the median income is, and you dig into all that, which I don't recommend because it will mess with your mental state if you're not solid. Most people are floating under that poverty line. So most Jedi that you meet are floating about there, or where some might classify as middle class. So there is that. Chasing it, material gain, it's not, if you're doing it just for that sense, that's not part of our path. Part of our path is about helping people and just being in a position to help people. Obviously, if you're more financially well off, you're in a better position to offer financial aid, to offer support of that nature in that means. But it's not something that's actually like pushed on or encouraged or anything like that within our philosophy. In fact, personally, what are my thoughts on it? My thoughts are, we lived in a broken system that has yet to come to terms with what society needs and what actually constitutes growth in society versus what a handful of billionaires want it to be, and that are completely have unbalanced the entire system. They have just unbalanced the entire system. And that there is this prevalent idea in United States culture, this American dream, right? That any person from anywhere can make it, right? That they too can become the eccentric billionaire who built their fortunes and stuff like that. Like, that's why people like Elon Musk are propped up in our culture and like a lot, like praised and things like that, without acknowledging where he came from and what his background is and kind of things of that nature. That he didn't start off like me, and he didn't start off like the majority of the Jedi that I know. He didn't start off in that position. He started off up here. So my thoughts on chasing money and material gain, if that's what you feel, the time is worth investing in. The philosophy, though, it's gonna conflict, or at least I found in my life, Jedi philosophy conflicts a lot with chasing money and material gain. Conflicts a lot with it. It's not against it. There's just what you need to get there. Oftentimes, like if you want to become a CEO of a company, some of the stuff you need to do to get there is going to conflict with Jedi ideals. So I haven't met a Jedi who's been able to really reconcile and win capitalism with the Jedi ideals. Those two things I have not seen come together and succeed yet. Hopefully someone does it. Hopefully someone is able to break through that barrier, win at capitalism and be a phenomenal Jedi. But I haven't seen it. Most Jedi I know keep to the spiritual, they keep to the philosophical, they keep to the refuge of that, because you don't need money to be a philosopher. You don't need to be rich to be a Jedi, right? You don't even need books to be a Jedi. So it has no relation to the Jedi path. We could dig into capitalism, Jediism, and socialism and all that fun stuff in itself, but really chasing money and material gain for itself doesn't vibe with Jedi. Goes outside of our area, right? Materialism and things of that nature. It's nice to have stuff, and there's a whole study on minimalism being a product of the rich. There's studies on that when you can afford to buy anything you want at any given notice, then you don't need to decorate your house with books, because you could go out and get that book at any time, right? So, chase it if you want, but I would love to see, though. I'd love to see a Jedi both succeed at capitalism and succeed in the Jedi ideals. Just not there yet. Just not there yet. And I say there's better things to focus on. And again, I think it comes back to, when we all boil this down, when you live the Jedi way, when you live the philosophy and doing what you do, whatever that is, you can be a stockbroker and be a Jedi, right, TD? You can rock stocks and be, right, TD? You can rock stocks and be a Jedi. And I think when you do that, when you apply the Jedi philosophy of knowledge, of serenity, and understanding, accountability, patience, right? When you apply these concepts, I think they can run with you. They can lead you places. They can help you get to where you want to be, to a comfortable level of life. I'm not a fan of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That you need to have all your stuff together before you get to self-actualization. I think that's backwards. I think you start with self-actualization and you keep up. But no doubts, when you're hungry, when you have to trade off, when you're wondering, do I go without power for a month, or do I stock the fridge for a month? Like, when you're playing those kind of games financially, when you are really struggling, when you're dealing with that, it's really hard to be philosophical and spiritual. It is difficult on an empty stomach to really hold that high ground. Great quote from Run the Jewels from their No Save Point song is something. What is it? There's no morality when the belly's empty. That's not a direct quote, but that's the concept behind it, is that your morality, you lose out on morality when you become hungry. So there is that challenge there, but at the same time, I fully believe, and it's worked for me, but I fully believe when you live the Jedi path, when you live the philosophy, it takes you to a certain place. I just haven't seen anybody break the ceiling yet. I think it uplifts you, but I don't think it, the Jedi path isn't going to lead you to billionaire status. The Jedi path isn't going to lead you to owning 5 yachts and stuff like that. That's something, Mitch McConnell makes $27 million a year, right? He makes $27 million a year messing over the American people. The Jedi path isn't going to lead you to $27 million a year, but it can definitely lead you to financial wellness. It can definitely lead you to having a good budget. It can definitely lead you to understanding the importance of social wellness and financial wellness, and how those go together, and how that impacts your overall wellness, physical, emotional, mental, intellectual, all of that, right? Spiritual, how all of that sort of plays together, and how that all combines, right? So absolutely. Our philosophy doesn't encourage it, but at the same time, I believe our philosophy can get you to a stable point in life, 100%. I'm getting behind on my things here. No risk, no reward. Got to risk it to get the biscuit. I don't see where I heard it, but I love that quote. That's a good one. In case we have to go back for that. Can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. It's a good one. Attachment to the physical is detachment from the spiritual. I mean, it's a lovely idea, but we can't all be Buddhists sitting out in a tea field, right? We live in what's that quote? Oh, you caught me criticizing society while simultaneously existing in society. We live in a world that we have to survive in. And that survival is, unfortunately, for most of us live in a capitalistic society, right? And a great example of that, right? If you read the news now, they say in the housing market is going out, like people are buying homes. But when you actually look at the majority of sales, they're by pension firms and they're by companies and they're by corporations that are buying up these houses. And why is that? So they can continue to perpetuate the rental system, that they continue to own buildings while people have to rent. And so they continue to get rich by doing nothing, by just owning, by already being rich and being able to buy up property. They now get passive income from people who are just trying to get by. And like, so, I mean, we are, rents do, right? So you could be spiritual, sure, but this isn't how it used to be. Buddhists used to be looked at, homeless people used to be looked at in certain cultures, certain societies, as touched by the gods, as being holy, as being spiritual, as having insight, of having wisdom, and they were given what they needed to survive on the daily survival, food, water, things of that nature. But we don't live in that kind of society, so we have to juggle our spiritual wellness with our physical needs. And our physical needs do require a roof over our heads, some kind of roof over our heads, and some way to get fresh water, and some way to eat food that sustains us. So yes and no. Like, you can be spiritual. I haven't met one, right? I've never met or seen or even believed for 1 second that there's a billionaire who's spiritual at the same time. Like, I mean, sure, they got the luxury of it, right? But that's not where their concerns are, and that's not what they're doing. So this quote, it does have some basis, but at the same time, we have to understand that we do have to simultaneously exist in this world while trying to feed ourselves and grow ourselves. And so you can do both. It's not one or the other. Don't let duality get in the way. It's oneness, right? You can be financially well off and spiritual. Again, I've only seen it to a certain point. Which I would love to see it. I'd love to see that change. I'd love to see it flip. I would love to see wealth based off of wisdom. I'd love to see credit reports, reflecting education and reflecting kindness and reflecting service and reflecting spiritual concepts. Like, where's that credit system at? Let's reward the people who are out there getting their hands dirty and putting in the work for a better world. Let's reward them. Let's give them what they need to make the world a better place. And that's what we see in Star Wars. The Jedi Temple, the Jedi Order, makes the universe a better place within Star Wars, right? And we see them given the tools they need to do that. They have the temple that's funded. They don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about keeping the lights on. They don't have to worry about where they're going to sleep or eat or anything, unless they're on a mission. But they are given that opportunity. So I don't think, attachment in the form that we talked about before, like possessiveness, yes. Possessiveness of physical removes from spiritual. But if you're talking about just surviving, then I'll fight that quote all the way. When you change the way you see reality, the reality you see will change. That's the other one. Who said that one? That's the other one. Give me a few more years, Ophi. I'll be the one. Financial. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Yeah, I've seen your work, man, and I'm waiting for it. I hope, dude. I hope. I'm cheering for you. Are you planning on expanding your Patreon tiers? Not yet. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. But right now I'm just trying to, I want to try to get In Search of the Force together and kind of get that moving and really tie in Patreon to that more than anything. And then with that, then there might come tiers with that. But I want to get, until I probably will not expand Patreon until I get to a level that I can do it full time. Talking about existing in a capitalistic world and needing to survive and eat and all that fun stuff and keeping the lights on and all that, right? When I'm able to do that through that, then because then I can dedicate the time to it. But right now, my time is tied up with a full-time job, juggling this, looking for another job, to actually pay the bills. Because I'm working like a minimum wage job right now, and then juggling my various Jedi projects that I want to do. I want to do In Search of the Force. I have a Jedi book I want to finish up, but then I have like 3 other books that I'm working on that are not technically, they're not Jedi related. And then there's the Jedi meditations I want to make on a more regular basis. There's a lot of projects. There's a lot of things that I want to do. And of course, time is the one currency none of us get more of, right? So I would like to, but that's something that's probably not going to happen until later on, until I can really devote extra time to it, until I can really create the things that I want to create and move things along from there. When I'm able to do that, I will look to expand the tiers, especially if that's what's helping me keep the lights on, if that's what's helping me dedicate my time to creating content and to writing books and to making meditations for the insight timer and things of that nature. If that's what I'm doing with my time, if that's what I'm doing with my life, and if people are funding me to do that thing, then I'll absolutely adjust tiers and dedicate focus and make more personalized and specific things that I can do for that. I will definitely adjust it. I would never, I don't sit still as it is. I constantly moving and constantly thinking of new ideas and new projects and things that I want to do. So that's where I'm at with that. So probably not anytime soon. Again, speaking on capitalistic ideas right now, $1 is more than enough. If we can just get multiple people to do that, if my subscriber count was on my Patreon for $1, I would be expanding tiers. I would be putting out all sorts of fun content. We'd be doing this on the regular. We would have videos 3 times a week. We'd be making quality. I'd be doing In Search of the Force like a TV show. You would think that this channel became the Discovery Channel or something. I would be going all out, but we're not there yet. So I'm waiting for TD to rock the stock market and become my funding, fund the Jedi Temple. I would think prosperity is a must for a Jedi. I mean, yeah, but you have to define that, right? Like everybody has to define that for themselves in regards to what does it mean to be prosperous? What does that mean? How do you define it for you? It's going to be a little different for everybody. If I look at where I grew up to where I am now, I would say I have abundance and prosperity. Like I have things that I never dreamed I would be at. And at the same time, society would deem me somewhat of a failure and has deemed me somewhat as a failure with where I'm at. And so we have to be really careful on where we define prosperity as. But yeah, if you want to help people, you have to be in a position to help people, and that requires a certain level of prosperity, both societal wise and personally wise. So you have to kind of. I agree with all what you said regarding materialism. I'm personally not a materialistic person, but everyone around me seems to be. What would you suggest as a healthier alternative for motivation? So a healthier alternative is one of the things that I said if you want to get into a position of helping people, like determine how you want to do that, or determine what speaks to you, what cause, how you can help in there, and then work towards getting to that level. Understanding it's not going to happen overnight, and understanding that you got to, like grow to it. That might be a better motivation, like saying that, well, I'm really interested in the wolf population in blah, 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 this area, and how to affect it. And I know that they need these things. So how can I get them these things? Well, if I get this job and get to this level at this income, then I'm able to not only help that, but I can actually go out there and volunteer my time, because then I've reached a level that I can focus on that. Or like using myself as an example, I'm trying to get to, I just recently lost out on this job, over 400 applicants for this job. And it was down to the last two, me and this other person won the job. And that job financially and hour wise was going to be a big benefit. I was going to make more than I'm making now and work less than I'm making now. And that would have allowed me the space and time, the freedom, the financial freedom, and the time freedom to create more content and to work on the projects that I want to work on. It was perfect. It was perfect for me to work on that. And I would have dedicated myself to that job, right? I would have really leaned into it, and I would have really been motivated. I would have been motivated to really keep that job and to really rock it, to really take pride in my work, and to really to honor that job, because it allowed me, it would have put me in a position that I could have done all these other things that I want to do, that I really care about, such as making content for this channel. So absolutely, like I would have, so that's something. Also, healthier alternatives for motivation for work, if we're talking about work or financial gain or something of that nature, is just taking personal pride, not arrogance, not any of that, but just taking pride in your work. Like I make the best TPS reports. No one can get them done like me. Get them done. I'm quick, I'm fast, I got it, man. Or like for me, when I'm at the kennels, man, I take pride in my work. I understand like what I'm doing, the work that I'm doing. No one does it like I do it, and no one does the job how I approach the job. And as such, I bring something unique and special to it. That's a motivating factor to kind of take that pride and kind of take that thing. And I'm not talking about, the pride of sin, that kind of pride, right? Like the pride, double the pride, double the fall, sticking to Star Wars, right? But just that understanding, that real self-awareness of where you're at. Healthier motivations, again, really just comes down to getting to a point where you can help others, or you can be of service, or you can do the things that bring you peace. It's about getting to an area that here's the things I want to do in life. How can I get there? I really want to meditate more in my life. How can I get there? How can I dedicate more time to that? All right, well, if I get this job and I get to this level financially, or if I earn this money and I save up this much during this time, then I can retire at this level. Or if I do that, you know what I'm saying? Like you take your goals and then break them down and then slowly work up to them, and use that as a motivation to kind of get there, to get to that level that speaks with you on a spiritual and intellectual level. You can do that. You can merge that. So I love Jordan Peterson's way of saying you don't really know if you're a good person because you haven't actually suffered. Be starving to death or share your meal. Then you can consider the possibility. You don't really know if you're a good person because you haven't actually suffered. Be starving to death and share your meal. Then you can consider. Yeah. For most Jedi that I've met, have all gone through some level of struggle. All of us, every single Jedi I've ever met has gone through some level of struggle. And I think that goes to spirituality as well. A lot of spiritual people that I've met have gone through that struggle. And it's about sharing. It's about being in the trenches of life with people and understanding that struggle. And I've been there. So we all have to go through it. And I think it's about being a part of it and sharing it and uplifting people. When you know the pain, when you know the struggle, and you know what it means to just try to survive, when you're just trying to survive and you've seen maybe your parents or someone of that nature just trying to survive and keep you going, like all of that's important. And understanding, and that can be motivation itself to kind of get to a level of, yeah, I didn't win capitalism, but I got comfortability, and I can help out others, and I can uplift others, and I can share my meal, right? Like all of that. So imagine if Luke had become emperor at the end of 6. I heard George Lucas considered Luke becoming emperor instead of restoring the Republic. I think you can see that in the expanded universe when Luke turns to the dark side briefly in those old books. It's one of the reasons why I wasn't really sad when Disney came in and made the expanded universe Legends. It made sense for numerous reasons. And some of those reasons were definitely, some of those reasons were definitely that the books were, some of them had some really strange stories, ideas, but those authors had talked to George Lucas. That's where they got a lot of their ideas from. With many of the ideas that George Lucas, I mean, he had a plethora. He had several different directions to go with. But yeah. It's one of the falls of power. It's one of the temptations of power, of wanting to fix things to force a better world on people, because you know better, right? Because you studied the old ways, because you know the wisdom, because you have that knowledge, and you know the better way forward. If you enforce that on people, but then you become the very tyrant that you were fighting against, right? So it's a very interesting story and dynamic to look at. Physical attachment is a negative, is like being fine with sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag with a milk crate for a table, unless you are truly minimalistic and the floor isn't killing your back. I mean, I've lived that. I had a cardboard for my computer desk, and I mean, I did have a mattress, not a sleeping bag, but that mattress did kind of come from an alley, so was not living the high life there. But yeah, I mean, look, the reality is being poor is garbage, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a misunderstanding. And I think once you self-actualize, you can get yourself out of those. Like, again, like I said, once you follow the Jedi philosophy, you start yourself on a path to move out of it, just because you see things differently, you react to things differently, you have different motivations, you're moving yourself along in a direction that requires growth, that requires getting out of the situation you are in. Can you be a great Jedi in a sleeping bag with a milk crate? Yes, you can. Can you be homeless and a great Jedi? Yes, you can. Is material wealth a necessity in any sort of level? No, it is not. You can absolutely be homeless and own nothing and be a great Jedi, but you will continually find yourself up against the wall because all Jedi share this trait. All Jedi want to be of service to life, and all Jedi want to help others help themselves. All Jedi are there, but there is an inherent problem with that, in that if you're not in position to help people, you're going to be butting your head against the wall, and it's not going to feel great. You're going to feel that level of powerlessness. So yes, you can be poor and you can be a great Jedi, but I think in being a Jedi, you automatically start gravitating towards a certain level of financial wellness. You start working towards it. Again, knowledge, when knowledge is your base, you start understanding, seeing the system for what it is, but also understanding the necessity to get to a certain level so you can work within the system you in to continually uplift others and to be of service to others. We got horribly off topic. Yes, we did. Oh, yeah, I'm in New Jersey. Where do I connect with other Jedi? Social media? Any links to help folks in the same situation? How to find folks in the community? We are back on topic an hour and a half later. Empire Jedi, I believe, would be the closest for you. Do I have any links? I don't know. I think you could go on Facebook, type in Empire Jedi. They call themselves Empire Jedi not because of the Empire in Star Wars, but because they are in New York. They are New York based, and New York is called the Empire State, hence the Empire Jedi. They would probably be the closest to you, and they would have links to other people. I believe there's people in Pennsylvania. I forget their group name though. Maryland. I know there's a couple Jedi that are active in Maryland. Basically, type it into Facebook. You'll probably come up with something. There's also a Facebook group, the Jedi Gatherings page. It's a resource, I guess. I don't know. You might be able to find someone there. I used to run a page. I used to have a group specifically for this, but getting Jedi from multiple areas into one spot always becomes a cluster, man, because so many people just want to voice their opinions and stuff like that. Benny, let's see. What? Sorry for just now getting to this question. Restored Pastafarian Church. What life advice would your religion give to a schizophrenic? Life advice? I don't follow your... The Jedi Path doesn't have anything specific to schizophrenia. So there wouldn't be anything more than follow your wellness. Do what's necessary for you to be well, and whatever that entails. For some people, that's a very strict routine regimen, regular meetings with a professional psychiatrist or therapist, and a routine of medicine. Making sure the doctors talk. I know somebody, their best friend was schizophrenic, and this was a few years ago, but their doctors were not talking, and the medicines that they were prescribed were doing horrible damage to their body, and that ended up causing a premature death. And so knowledge, right? It's just about, it wouldn't really be much different. There's no different life advice for a schizophrenic in the Jedi Path than there would be for someone else, because it's not based that way. It would just be encouraging of doing what you need to do for your own personal wellness, and that applies to everybody. So for a schizophrenic, that would just be whatever that they needed to do, whether that's medicines, whatever the professionals in their lives saying, having a good social support structure, making sure that they are, whatever is necessary for that personal wellness. That would be the advice, if you want to call it that. But there isn't specific advice for a schizophrenic that you would find in the Jedi Path. It would be pretty applicable to about anybody. It's a box, but it's a really big box. So we have these set concepts and ideas and philosophies and patience, accountability, knowledge, as I said before, things of that nature. But that applies to everybody, schizophrenic or not. So it would just be about following your regimen, doing what's good for you, doing what's good for your mental health, doing what's good for your physical health, your spiritual health, things of that nature. So hopefully that answered the question. I know it doesn't really, because it's not specific, but the Jedi Path isn't really specific for those kind of things. It has an overencompassing thing, which is like, do what you need to do to be, good with you. What is your personal wellness? What do you need to do for your personal wellness? Go do that thing. It's a bit more, and that always gets complicated, especially if you live in the United States, because of how health systems work and stuff like that. And that goes back to capitalism. And that goes back to the topic we were just ranting on for like over an hour. How does the ability Shatterpoint Shatterpoint relate to the multiverse concepts in the Force and quantum physics? That's a whole topic, man. Like that's hang on. Just, yeah, would have completely derailed the point of the first trilogy. That would have, I'm talking about Luke turning to the dark side and becoming the Emperor. Yeah, as I said, that's in one of the books. He turns that and he starts becoming the Emperor, and he fights Emperor clones, and it's a whole convoluted thing. And I don't think that was born out of thin air. I'm pretty sure that was born with talks, because each of the expanded universe authors did talk with George Lucas. But yeah, it was never meant to last. Like, it wouldn't. Did he answer that one with the cookie crumble analogy? No, that was just the Force and oneness and the multiverse, how it's all one thing, but it's broken up into different areas. Yeah. The second question was incorporates Shatterpoint, a Miss Windu Force technique, which, yeah, that was. You just want Obi to pull out the whiteboard. Yeah, that would take a lot of like pinpointing things and drawing strings across, and very Charile Daisy meme-ish, like I think we would get into a big thing. Really, that's just a personal fun exploration that you get to do, things of that nature. So Jedi rules about wearing jorts. Your comments and others' perspectives that you know of. Thank you for your wisdom, Opie. I hope the Force treats you well. Right back at you. Yeah, there's no rules on things like that. Functional and comfortable. Those are the rules on wearing what you wear. Have at it. If it's functional and it's what expresses you, we're all good. Have at it. It's all good. Half-past midnight here in the UK. Got to tag out. Have a good night. You're probably already gone by this point, but have a good night, G Wheeler. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of it. Really appreciate it. Good. I'm glad people. Oops. Okay. Good. I'm currently beginning my personal Jedi Path circle combined with Jeet Kune Do and other holistic systems. Yeah, it's just fun exploration. So dig into it. You know what I mean? Like, dig into it. I don't. It would just be a fun thought exercise, basically, how the concept of the Shatterpoint technique would relate to the Force and things of that nature. So it's really just a fun thought exercise, but dig into it, have fun with it, fully support it. I myself am, more back down to how does philosophy, or how does this direct my life in relation to where I'm at now, kind of thing. It seems that I know what I would like to see is the I that knows me when I know that I know that I know. Alan Watts, great for lo-fi, by the way. Wonderful voice, wonderful speaking voice. But yeah, Buddhism is weird. What are your opinions on a real-life version of midichlorians? A poor example, as they are fictional, but I'm thinking of something that permeates everything in the universe. Sorry, it makes no sense. A real-life version of the midichlorians that most people go to is the mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, as like elementary school life science will tell you. Mitochondria has actually been a pretty prevalent crossover. One of the things that I would actually go with, that I think's fun to dig into, if you want to look at real life versions of the midichlorians as they're described in Star Wars, and then what kind of things in life that might be a real life version, is the tardigrades. Tardigrades would could be a very interesting version. However, we do not have examples both of mitochondria and tardigrades in space. So that's where you kind of draw. Within the Star Wars universe, midichlorians seem to permeate the entire galaxy and are a part of life. But as we know it, but where that falls off, how many midichlorians are in a rock per se, we don't know any of that information. That was never really explored. There were rumors that George Lucas's next trilogy, where he was gonna take the sequels, was gonna be a exploration of the Force and midichlorians and the wills and all of that. We may never know if that was true or not. That could just be speculation, rumor, and it really doesn't matter. It's all a moot point because he's, obviously the sequels are done and that chapter is closed. So we may never know. But if you're looking for on Earth examples of midichlorians, I would either go tardigrades or mitochondria. Mitochondria have a much better transition into that. There have been experiments with scientific experiments of cells being separated and the mitochondria reacting to the stimuli of those separated cells being very far apart. So there was still some sort of connection there, right? There's still some sort of flow there. There's still some, when one reacts, even though it's not part of it. So mitochondria is probably where you're at. Probably where you're at with that. But it's been explored a few times. I mean, that's not a new topic in the Jedi community, right? So we've explored that. There's plenty of ways to look at midichlorians. Maybe do a separate stream on Shatterpoint and Multiverse. Maybe. We'll see. I can't promise that. Because I can't even promise. I still have a video that I'm supposed to post on Jediverse Society that I literally had a live stream of me editing the video and getting it done and ready to go, and it didn't happen. And it's still not uploaded to my channel yet. So I can't promise any sort of video. I clearly cannot promise any sort of video at any time. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. Again, though, it's mostly a thought experiment, and I like to try to keep it to more tangible, applicable, APBP tested here. Is it applicable? Is it practical? Is it beneficial? And is it positive to live by? That's where I like to go with my streams and questions. Obi, we should get a Discord community based off your channel. I know broken record, but we could invite others. They would tune in. It would in turn know that you're on and get more viewers. I'll help hype that. I second a Discord community. Hashtag Jedi. Obi's Jedi Corner. And let's see. Hashtag Obi's Jedi Corner. So a Discord thing. That was one of the things that, to go back to Base Jedi's thing on Patreon tiers, one of the ideas was to have a different tier, which would allow access to Discord community server, things of that nature. So maybe I just don't have the time to regulate it. I don't have the time to build the culture there. I don't have time to make sure that people aren't being a fool and saying dumb stuff. I would want any sort of Discord channel, I would want very much to be Jedi based and for people to act as Jedi. Most Discord channels that I've seen and most online environments and communities that I've seen devolve quickly. They devolve quickly, and you need to set up a culture, and you need to set up clear rules and things, encourage certain behavior, discourage other behavior, kind of build that culture. And I just don't have the time for that. I just don't have the time for that right now. But maybe I'll put it on the table. Midichlorians, mitochondria, blah blah blah. Midichlorians, mitochondria, TNT, melanin, blood cell count. Yeah, those all like it's all academic. It's all a debate, you know. Anyone willing to let me PayPal them $20 to watch a 20-minute video and respond with any applicable wisdom? Are you trying to sell your services here, man? Are you trying to sell your service with applicable wisdom? First, let's see some of the applicable wisdom. Go for it. I'll give you a shot. Handle it. You got to do a little something free of charge to show people that you can offer that. So $20 to watch a 20-minute video and respond with applicable wisdom. So what's an example of that applicable wisdom? Just trying to get advice on the question that you asked before about schizophrenia. Is that what you're trying to get advice on? You don't have to pay people to get their opinions, man. It's the internet. What's the video on? Let's build up your audience here. What's the video on? You would have to see it. That's ominous. That's ominous. That sounds scary. I'm not sure. See, people would, you know, I understand people got to risk it to get the biscuit, but you're paying people to go watch a video. What's the video on? It's got to be a topic. It's 20 minutes long. It's 20 minutes long. Knowledge. It's a core part of the Jedi Path, knowledge. So we're going to ask questions. Anybody who's watched my live streams on Star Wars: The Old Republic, when we're doing a mission, you know, understands this is what I do in the game. It's what I do in real life. Ask questions. We're going to ask questions. The video is on asking for advice. Okay. It's entitled, "How would you respond to a schizophrenic asking for life advice?" Okay, so it is on the topic. It is on the topic that you asked before. Life advice. Look up the Jedi Circle. Go look it up. You'll find a image. Go to image, right? Go to image. Can we do this? Hang on a second. Let me just try real quick. Images. Oh yeah, it's like one of the first ones that pops up. Okay, you go to images. Oh, never mind. That one's, well, I mean, like, can we see that in Oh yeah, there you go. Why is go to images, Jedi Circle. There you go. But it gets specific. I'll definitely work on this theory, as you should, man. That's it. Off topic and distracting. We want well for you, but can't lose community over possible scam. Truth, man. So, all right. Here's your thing. In the comments, right? Leave a link to the video. If people want to go to it, don't pay anybody. Sorry, people, I'm going to ruin your capitalistic dreams. Don't pay anybody, okay? That's not how you're going to get quality stuff anyways. That's not the people you want replying to you. Just leave a link in the comments. That's fine. And if people want to go and check it out, they can go and check it out. But really, life advice is going to vary. And while schizophrenia is definitely I'm not sure asking general people that question is really going to help, because it's really hard to understand. It is really, really hard to understand what a schizophrenic experience is. So giving life advice from someone who's never really had that experience or been closely tied to or related to someone who has that experience, the life advice is going to fall flat. Whether specific or not, it doesn't matter what you're specifically asking about. It's going to fall flat. And what you need is someone who really you need people who understand the challenges that come with dealing with that kind of lifestyle. And you're going to want more professional help with that. You're going to want, or you want people who do have schizophrenia, who've managed it, and who are, by their definition, not society's definition, by their definition, succeeding in life. That's who you're going to want kind of responding to it. So, I mean, offer it up, and hopefully it gets to the right places. And I definitely wish you well, and hope the right people come to the video and offer something. But just paying people to go watch it and to offer 2 cents, really not gonna get you quality. And you probably want quality. Yeah, don't pay folks. We'll choose, but for now we're talking Jedi, my friend. Many places to offer more specific help. Jedi want well for you, but lack what you require. How much for you to watch it and video respond? As I said, leave the link in the comments below. I'll approve it if it gets flagged. You can leave the link for the video, and I'll watch it. Whether or not I respond is dependent on the video. What if schizophrenia is just a form of chaotic telepathy? There's your food for thought. I tried asking, no one cares. We'll see. Leave a link. Anyway, Opie, any ideas for more outdoor videos? Those were great and creative. Yeah. The outdoor videos that's the main ones that I want to do is called In Search of the Force. And it's a new one I'm going to do, but I really have to wait. I can't do it on my own. I cannot create them on my own. I do need help with them. So I am going to rope in my girlfriend into helping me. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best on that. I'm going to try to rope in my girlfriend to help me in making these videos that will be outdoors. They will be explorations. There'll be a couple indoors, but they'll be like full-on videos. They'll be full-on videos exploring the Force, Jedi philosophy, and how we get into touch and exploring it through different cultural lenses and understanding the Force through different cultural lenses. And how we feel it, how we experience it, where you can experience it. Is it different in different locations? Things of that nature. Does a cultural lens shift how one experiences the Force? So I definitely have more outdoor videos planned. It is just a matter of getting having the time and the financial wellness time. And I need one other person to help me with the filming and things of that nature. Yeah, you can't. Is it not showing up? It won't show up in the chat. You'll have to post the link in the comments of the video. So you'll, and I'm not sure if comments are allowed while it's live streaming. I'm not sure, but after, and I'm gonna be ending the stream here in a second anyways, because yeah, we've really gone off topic from where we're at. But I knew this might get carried away, and that's why I answered the question, the topic of where to begin as a Jedi in the very beginning. I gave all those tools at the very beginning, and so we're there. So yeah, just leave it in the comments, and for those that want to check it out, and I'll check it out. And we'll see. Like, I get it. It can feel. I get it. I do. But all you can do is leave the link and see what comes of it. But there's no quality in paying for people, and that comes from a Jedi. I tell you, man. There's no quality for it. So, yeah, we'll check it out. We'll see what happens. Again, it depends on the video. But all right, so we are about 2 hours in. I think we're good here. I think we're good, right? Yeah, so we have more videos. Again, if you're just tuning in or you skip to the end because you're like, I'm not watching 2 hours of this, go to the very beginning of the video, like 10 minutes. It's the first 10 minutes will answer all the questions of what you need. Get Jedi Circle, pick up a few books if you can. Most of them should be available at your local library, or at least they should be able to get their hands on them for you. If you want to be a Jedi, that's where you begin. Begin with the Jedi Circle. Go with the APBP test. Remember the Jedi Method, and you are good to go. Promise you that. And then pick up those books if you can, because that adds that exploration and those concepts of thought questions, thought exercises, such as, Justin Z, throwing out a lot of thought questions, things to chew on, things to look into, to define your reality, to define what you consider. And that's good for spiritual wellness, which is a core part of the Jedi Path. So absolutely dig into it, have fun. And there you go. And we'll do that. We care sincerely. It's not a case of not caring. We just have so little power to help you. We lack many tools, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you for responding, and to anyone who shares their thoughts. Right, got that. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for joining me. Thank you everybody for asking questions, being a part of it, getting in here. I know we had a journey through many topics. Some of them Jedi related, some just my own ramblings, but thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Truly appreciate it. For those of you who donated, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It means a lot. I truly appreciate that. And yeah, join the Patreon. There you go. And maybe we'll get a Discord up eventually. Wish you insights on your journey for sure. And don't forget to leave that link in the comments below. I'll be sure to approve it. Don't worry. And then we'll see where it goes from there. We do have a great community. We do. This is true. Everybody here has been great. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I'll catch you on the next stream. Same bat time, same bat channel. Maybe, possibly. You know how I work on this channel. I do the best I can with what I got, with where I'm at. But yeah, we got more content coming. It's all coming. It just takes a while sometimes. I'm fighting capitalism here with my full-time job, so I still got that stuff, right? And my Dogecoin is not it's not taking me where I want to be yet. I'm not in the Elon Musk status. I can't retire just yet. Waiting though. I'm waiting. Let's get out of here. Go everybody, go have fun. Go be a Jedi. You know where the buttons are. May the Force be with you, and we are